Hey mom friends, today I'm going to share a little change we're making in our homeschool, or maybe it's a big change. Now I'm not sure if this is a permanent change or just a temporary change, but we are giving this thing a try. Something I've wanted to do for a long time, but I've never been quite ready. So I don't know if maybe you should disregard my video from early in January because February is going to be a little different. Hey, I'm Lindsay. Welcome to One Praying Mama. If you're new here, it's great to have you. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I just share about homeschooling, raising kids that love God and follow Him. So thank you so much for listening. So early January, I just felt a peace and a calm about our homeschool and about how we'd gotten into such a nice, smooth routine as far as our homeschool goes. But after I made a video about our morning time, after that early January video, I felt a sadness about, I just felt like there was one thing that I had really missed from our earlier days of homeschooling. We're in our 5th year, and I feel like my kids, my 3 that are homeschooling, they're all on different levels, and they're doing things so separately. And I talked about that, and that's something I look back at our first couple of years homeschooling, and like the thing that I miss the most was our the Good and the Beautiful science units that we would do. We would do a unit study, like probably 2 days a week. We'd sit down and dive into these science studies. The other days we do a history lesson. And I loved our very first history book that we ever worked through. We just worked through it read aloud style, and it was just my favorite time in our homeschooling. So I was thinking and praying, I miss that. And part of me is like, I need to just let go of that because I know that, they're getting older, and maybe that's just the way it's supposed to be. But one thing that I've always kind of thought, but been a little bit afraid to try, is unit studies. Like, we've done several unit studies, like the campfire. Our most recent actual unit study was last year. We did campfire curriculums, the mysteries, history holds. And we love those, but it feels like, I always feel like we have to do all of our academics, and these can be like here and there. Like, that was a little addition to history. We took a time out from our history and did that one last year. But I've loved the idea, and I love the thought of using a unit study like campfire curriculum, and using it all in, like letting that be our core and everything, like utilizing the core connections. If you know anything about campfire curriculum, or you don't, they have the main unit, and then they have the core connections, where it's a little add-on that you don't have to use. And whatever the unit is not heavy on, it includes in the core connections. And then you just add math. You add your own math, and then you do that as a family, and it has different guidebooks for different kind of age groupings. So I just decided, I'd really been thinking about that, and I feel like we're in a point right now where we're going to just pause our regular homeschool. We're going to keep doing math. We're going to keep doing, the kids are going to keep, doing a few things, their independent reading time, their individual Bible or logic that my oldest is doing. They're going to keep those things, and we're just going to pause for the next 4 to 6 weeks on other stuff. And we're going to dive all in to the campfire curriculum's Holocaust unit study. And I've kind of jumped around curriculum-wise here and there before, and I feel like, I was always worried that that was doing a disservice to my kids. But thinking about it, they're going to continue, practicing their skills that they've used in language arts. This Holocaust unit is pretty heavy on the language arts side. I feel like they're going to dive into propaganda and investigative journalism, and just kind of learn a lot about that. And a lot of their language arts will be related to those things. And I think they're going to be super interested in that. And like I look back on my years in high school, I was thinking specifically the other day about my junior year of high school and the history class that I was in. I can remember sitting in the class. I don't even know what history we learned. I don't know if it was an American, it might have been civics. I don't know if it was a world history class. I have no idea. I do not remember a single thing. And something that my daughter has verbalized over the last couple of weeks a lot more is that she does not feel like she remembers anything she's reading in her history lessons. And she just feels like she reads it and answers the questions and then forgets it. And I just don't want that for her. I want her to dive in and enjoy something and learn about something. And I really truly miss the time where we would sit down as a family and learn together. And I know that my kids are getting older, but I guess that's why I homeschool, is so that I can do it the way that I want to, that I can hold on to those things with my kids, those moments with my kids. And so anyway, feel free to switch things up if you want to. And I know that, sorry, I'm checking the baby monitor. I know that you all know that as homeschool moms, but I feel that sometimes if you listen to certain people, they're going to say that, no, you can't do that. Like, you are messing up their education. And my heart is just pulling, I feel like it's pulling our homeschool back in the direction of like the one room schoolhouse days, like where we are learning together. When I started homeschooling 5 years ago, that is what I loved. And yes, I know like some of the things that they're doing, they're going to be doing them individually. And even, here they come inside. It is so cold here, and they decided that they wanted to get in the hot tub. But when I picture homeschooling, that's what I picture. And I know that, everything isn't always going to be my way, the way that I want it. But I figure right now, in the middle of winter, we have the freedom to do this. We have, we're going to give this a try for 4 to 6 weeks, however long it takes us to get through this unit. We're going to put other things on pause. My youngest that's homeschooled will continue, her reading lessons, her math, and then everything else. My oldest two will do, the things that I mentioned. And then we're going to put everything else on pause, and we can always just pick it right back up if we need to. But I really think this will give us a good idea, like next school year, is this the kind of approach that we want to take? Like different unit studies, and do all of our learning through those unit studies and add math and maybe another thing here and there. Or, do we need to go back to what we were doing? So I feel like I want to pause right now and do it, because I mentioned it to the kids and they were excited about it. And we have kind of the momentum right now to do it, where I feel like if we waited towards the end of the year, that, we would be like, we wouldn't have the energy to try something new, that we would just be like, oh, let's just get our year done. Let's finish out what we're doing, get it done. And so, we might end up going right back to what we were doing before. I think either way, this is going to be a great unit study. We've done like just the first lesson so far, the prologue and the first lesson. But I'm really excited, and I can't wait to share, what we think of it. And I really feel like just hope that this is going to bring our homeschool back to what I have always envisioned it to be. I would love to know from any of you that is like a true unit study family. I feel like there are so many unit study families out there, but so few of them that actually use these unit studies that are designed to be like everything but math. Very few people seem to actually use them for everything but math. So I would love to know your experience if you are one of those families. At least very few people on YouTube, and I don't think anybody that I know in real life homeschooling is really a unit study family. So I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to know how your homeschool is going. So leave a comment down below. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I hope you have a great day.